So I'd like us to explore more about the shadow of wealth, what's in the way of wealth. If wealth is the abundance of life, is the presence of love, joy, wisdom, the intelligence of the life that is our gift to live, then what is in the way of us experiencing this fully? What obstacles, what resistance do we have to wealth in our lives? So resistance suggests some kind of push against, like trying to swim upstream when the river is flowing happily and easily with the dancing light on the ripples, and we're kind of trying to force our way in a different direction. Why is it that we do that? What is occurring within us that causes this state of resistance that denies us from the natural connection with wealth? As we listen to this, our conscious mind is, well, I wouldn't do that on purpose. Why would I want to obstruct from joy, love, happiness, connection, well-being, abundance? Of course, on the outside, in our conscious awareness, we don't want to do that. But the patterning that becomes the resistance is buried deep in the unconscious, submerged subconsciously under the surface of our conscious awareness. So just like to give a name to a few of these patterns and see if you can resonate with them or associate with them. So I don't feel worthy. It's kind of a popular one. Lack of worth. Not deserving. I'm not available to receive love. Love doesn't come to me. I feel like an outsider, an alien somehow to the life experience. I lack value. I have low self-esteem. I'm not able to. It won't work out. It never happens to me. So as you start to get into this dialogue with the subconscious, the patterning, we start to recognize that this occurs as the inner critic or the inner judge that is circling around in our thought space. So we might decide to do something beautiful or wonderful in the world for ourselves or others or the earth herself. And this criticism begins to swirl around. You haven't got the money, you haven't got the time, it will never work out, no one will ever believe you. What's the point? They're all voices of doubt. We have to consider, are we our thoughts? Do our thoughts equal to us? It is said we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day swirling around in this mind space. Apparently 75% of these thoughts are of a negative nature. This is largely agreed to be because we are in a survival state. Like our thinking structure, our brain is organized to protect this organism. And so it's scouting all the time for threats. And this is what is considered to be negative, but in fact it's survival-based awareness. Now if we live in this hyper state of alertness all the time, then we're going to impact our nervous system, and our sympathetic nervous system will go into overdrive, too much adrenaline, too much cortisol, or in brainwave rhythms, too much beta wave rhythm, which causes irritation and upset, frustration and annoyance. And this is the realm of the unconscious thoughts of doubt, fear, insecurity, abandonment. This is where they reside, in the survival domain of our brain's awareness. So they serve a certain purpose. They're intended to protect us, but not to define us. And this is a significant insight that we are not defined by our thoughts. Even if you have a million positive thoughts and you start to feel positive for a while, the minute you stop thinking those thoughts, the positivity also fades away. If something can fade away, it's impermanent. It It's only produced by a stimulus. And who we are is something which is transcendent of time and space. Our awareness has a permanence to it, an eternity to it. Present, loving awareness that we are, this I am consciousness and energy, is our foundation and is not touchable by circumstances or relationships or the changing states and situations that we may find ourselves in. So there's something stable in us which is holding this continuity of wealth, awareness, this vibrancy of wealth. It's always here. But because we're listening to this survival talk, this self-criticism, this hyper-alertness, and we identify with it, so we enter more into the focus of what we're identifying with, and it becomes our experience. Because what we focus on is where our energy goes, and where our energy goes is where our experience happens. So looking at the nature of resistance in the light of this, the brain, these thoughts which we consider to be negative or critical, are attempting to protect us from harm, but they don't see the whole picture. So the protective mechanism that causes low self-esteem or doubt or fear, because we are concerned about the environment or our relationship with others in the environment or our self-expression. Because we're concerned with this, we lose contact with our essential essence. So just consider for a moment, close your eyes, just breathe in. As you're breathing in, just sensing lots of clouds in the sky, and these clouds represent these doubting, insecure, I'm not good enough, it'll never happen thoughts. I'm not worthy of love or abundance or wealth, not deserving. It's never going to happen to me. Just notice all these clouds. And notice they're moving through the sky. Some are bigger than others, some may be dark clouds, some a bit lighter, some rain, thunder and lightning have a big impact, and others more gentle, but still moving across your mental space that you've been identifying with. I want you to pay attention, take a nice big breath, to the sky that is holding the space in which these clouds are moving. So instead of focusing on the clouds, focus on the sky that's holding the clouds. Imagine you can see through the clouds or around or beside them, and notice the blue sky and give your attention to this. And if you've flown on an aeroplane, you'll know that as you go through the cloud layer, the blue sky is there, always there. So imagine you are on an aeroplane and you're just flying through the cloud layer, entering into the blue sky, and just witnessing, feeling, sensing, knowing that you are this endless, open, blue sky, which is the container holding space for experience to happen. But breathe in, expand into this. Every breath, keep expanding, keep noticing the opening, endless blue sky. Now you come back to your original position, like looking from the earth upwards. And you can witness the clouds moving across the sky, and you can see the sky herself. And give yourself permission to have a choice where you place your attention. You can either look at the clouds moving, or you can relax with a peripheral vision, open-eyed vision, open awareness vision of the whole sky all at once. This is really important when it comes to how we're going to work with our awareness. Because as we get identified with your resistant patterning, it becomes more resistant. There's a momentum effect that happens with our focus. The more sad we feel, the more sad we feel. And the more sad we feel, the because we focus on it, we amplify it, we grow it, we give it more magnetism, as like a snowball effect, expands and expands. But likewise, as we tune into our essence, to the blue sky, to the openness, to the container of all that is, this expansion also becomes our state of being, our state of knowing. So we have this appearance, or this coexistence, of infinite wealth, the blue sky, and all these variations of clouds representing the different variations of resistance. And the practice is to learn to disidentify from these thoughts as defining you. That a cloud does not define the sky. It does not define you. Your thoughts do not define you. They do not give you substance. They are very small occurrences that rise and fall and dissipate in the infinity of consciousness and energy. But we often give so much attention to the dark clouds of doubt and fear and insecurity, and it's never going to work out, that this gets amplified and becomes overwhelming, and our resistance becomes our state of being. But it's an artificial state that we produce through our focus on a cloud. So now when it comes back to wealth awareness, dropping back into the infinite blue sky, and learning to identify the different clouds, to see them, to notice them, to love them, and then move in a transcendence through and beyond into the infinity that contains and holds all of them, and get more used to being in this state of openness, in this state of natural wealth and expansion and fullness and abundance and presence.